Good evening, guys. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's doing well. Hope you've all had a good day. Hope you're in the best of health. Hope you're in the best of wealth. And I hope you're being the best version of yourself. I hope you're genuinely being lucky in life. I really do. And I take my hat off to you guys. Here you go. So I'll do this video with the hat off. Welcome to my channel, guys. Joey Barnett TV. Yesterday on my community post, I did promise you guys that I'll be doing a video on postcode wars. So I'm going to do a short video on this postcode wars because it's going to be an ongoing thing, a continuation. So I'll probably be doing part 2, part 3 and part 4. But yeah, the gang rivalry was on the Thamesmead estate and it was amongst a few different guys. And I'll mention the first names, but for legal reasons, I can't mention their surnames. So one of the names was Peter, one of them was Tony, and one of them was Leroy. Now, in the Princess Alice pub, which was on the middle of the estate, also known as Princess Slice, a fight broke out between Leroy and Tony. Yeah. One of them they both stabbed each other up really badly. One of them got stabbed up that bad that it put him into a wheelchair. It paralysed him, and he's still paralysed today, I believe. Yeah, he is still paralysed. God bless him. The other one got horrific injuries too. You know, stab wounds around the neck, around the lungs. He was in a fraction. The pair of them was in a fraction of losing their life. They really was. It was that dangerous. Now, this Princess Slice pub, yeah, it's a very, very, very cliquey pub. It's the type of pub where, and before I go on and carry on about this pub, yeah, I'm just going to say that these type of pubs are not just in this area on the Thamesmead estate. They're all around the country. They're all around the place. You've got naughty pubs, you know, and it's the ones you least expect too. You know, it really is. So it doesn't matter where you come from. Doesn't matter where you are in the UK or out of the UK. There's always a naughty pub, and there's always naughty people. The same as there's always good people. But a lot of these pubs have got a very, very dark past. So with this Princess Slice pub, the name tells you all, doesn't it, guys? There is so many people getting sliced up in there. With the ratchets, do you remember the ratchet knives? What you used to flick and they used to click? So yeah, they was getting stabbed. People was just slicing people up with them. And it was a type of pub. There's pubs in other countries the same, I'm sure. It was a type of pub where, so I've got a bit of a fucking cough. It was a type of pub where if you went in there and no one didn't know you, then you'd be getting such bad daggers, such bad vibes, that it frightened the life out of you to get out of the pub. Despite how hard you are, despite how big you are, despite how much money you've got, if you went into that pub and you wasn't known by the residents or the people of that pub, you wasn't staying in there long. I doubt very much whether you'd be in there long enough to even finish your pint. You'd be getting confronted by the lads, and there'd be questions asked. It's one of them types of pubs. The violence in there was on a different scale. You know, it wasn't just of the night time neither when people were drunk. It is during the daytime too. There used to be a few different gangs on the Thamesmead estate. One was from one side and one was from the other side. And they used to meet up in the car park and literally have gang warfares. And when I mean gang warfares, you know, really, really naughty warfares. And what would happen was if one of the rivalries was in the pub, and another rivalry come into the pub, it could be the next generation down. It might not even be someone what that person known. They might not have even known each other. But, you know, where it's such a cliquey pub, the people around there would automatically know that there's two different cliques in the pub what don't get on. It's one of them ones. If you go one side across the road, then with these postcode wars, and it's still like it today. If you go one side of the road, then you'll pay the price. And, you know, that is how London's got nowadays, and it's still like it today. I mean, let's take today for an example. In Croydon, on the red buses, you know, a male fatally stabbed and killed a female, teenagers. You know, this is how bad knife crime and gun crime has got. And this is, these here fisticuffs have gone. There ain't no more fisticuffs, you know. If you have a fight and, you know, there ain't no weapons involved, then you're fucking lucky. You're fucking lucky. It has got that fucking bad. So I'm just so glad that I'm out of it all, you know, and I'm still here to tell the tales as a reformed person, drug-free person. I just like telling these tales to spread awareness. So, yeah, 2 of them got severely stabbed up. 1 of them got crippled, put into a wheelchair. And both of these older guys had the really bad fight. Both had sons. And the rivalry just went on and on and on. And then one of the sons shot the other son, and killed him dead. And that led to even more blood spilt. So, and then there was there'd have to be comebacks and things like that. So yeah, it was a really, really rough pub. It really was. I did mention Peter on my community post yesterday, and the reason why I mentioned Peter is because of he was part of that at that time. Yes, he was a bad man, and when I knew Peter, it was in 1997 or 1998, and well, I've known him. I've knew him from about 94, 95 through my Cody Lionel. And then when I got my lump of blood, it was 99. And up until that point, he was a staunch, crazy fucking dude. I remember when he got chopped in the head with an axe. Someone tried to kill him, and you know, he's got many, many, many scars, like we all have. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, Peter was part of this too, because he was very good friends with one of the guys called Tony. I'll give you a little taste of his surname, but I've got to change it a little bit. So it's Tony Nicholas. I'll mention another one. It's called Leroy Weathers. So the surname is swapped over just a little bit. But yeah, going back onto that estate yesterday and pulling up into the car park to meet Channel 5 brought back all their memories. I was called, and me and my Cody, sorry for stuttering, guys, I'm trying to get it all out. Me and Lionel, so Lionel is Tony's first cousin, and obviously Lionel got called to go over there to get involved with this rivalry, and you know, obviously Lionel was my right-hand man, so you know, I was over there with Lionel, and that's how I got to know about all these gang postcode wars back in the day. Do you know what I mean? And it's got worse today. It really has got worse today. But yeah, you know, a fight broke out into the fight what these 2 lads had in the Princess Alice pub broke out into the car park, and both parties had big strong firms around them, naughty firms, you know, firms what would die for them, and a massive fight broke out. There was no arrest. Obviously the police did get called, but by the time they come, you know, everyone was gone, and apart from the ones what was fatally injured, and yeah, there was quite a few fatally injured. But so what happened was further down the line, let's say like a year later or something like that, you would get one of the boys from a certain postcode, and he'd be in there having a beer, having a game of pool, or having a chat and having a laugh with one of his friends, and then one of his rivalries would come in and clock him at the bar, and then they'd go on the old blower, they'd get their boys in, and then they'd put an attack on the pub onto the rivalries, and that went on and on and on, and yeah, so many people got really badly hurt out of that pub. That's why they called it Princess Slice. So yeah, when I went down there the other day, to be totally honest with you, it was nice to see it closed. It just goes to show you how long I haven't been down there for, because I don't know how long that pub's been closed. But the CCTV in there in the car park is on a different Richter scale. It really is. Actually, it's called a Patreon's car park or something like that. And when I met Channel 5 yesterday, one of the producers said to me, get out of the car park because there's CCTV. And as I looked up at the camera, I see it spin round on me. So, yeah. And opposite that pub is the notorious Belmarsh prison. It's not a stone throw away from the Princess Alice. So, you know, this is why Belmarsh is so naughty. Not so much on House Block 4. Because on House Block is another feather. I believe that's a sign from people that ain't here no more. I believe things like that. Especially loved ones what have been taken away from us too soon. I believe when something happens like that, a feather drops in front of you, I believe it's them. It's them loved ones showing their presence. And yeah, I do talk to my mum still. But anyway, jumping back onto, I hope that gives some people a bit of strength too, because if anyone has lost any loved ones and they're going through a really bad time, you know, because you never get over it. It gets easier, but you don't get over it. But if anyone's going through that bad time and they do get little signs, believe in that little sign, you know. If it's going around in your head, I wonder whether it was them what done this, or I wonder if it was them what done that. That will be them. That will be them looking down over you, guiding you through life. And that's what I believe's happened to me. My mother has guided me through life, and she's laid the cards on the table and said it how it is straight. That, you know, her son, meaning me, has done, you know, decades in prison, and it's time for him to have a break, and it's time for him to be happy. So I owe it all down to my mum, you know. So don't ever give up. And all those that are going through, as I say, loved ones what have just passed away, keep talking to them because they can hear you. Trust me. Anyway, yeah. So Belmarsh now, House Block 3, not so much 4, but House Block 3 is notorious. Was notorious, still is notorious for people getting stabbed up, for people losing their lives, people getting murdered. It all gets brushed completely under the carpet. Nothing goes on social media, nothing goes on the news, and the reason why that happens is because of the prison don't want to be made a mockery, and that is the truth. But the amount of serious assaults what go on in that prison is on a different fucking Richter scale. It really is. Yeah, and that is why, because House Block 3, it holds remands. And if you're from around that area, or even if you're not from around that area, but if you're from around that area, you know, off the estate, 10 out of 10, you're going to go in there on remand. And, you know, it's there. It's in there where these gang members meet their rivalries. And that is when things really, really, you know, get bad for them, because they think that they're safe because they're locked up. But as soon as they get in there and they find out that their rivalry's on their wing, you know, there's only two things they've got to do. Is fight to survive and, you know, not get murdered, or put themselves down the old chokey. And that is the state of affairs in Belmarsh. That's how bad it still is today. But yeah, that's why it's so bad, Belmarsh, because it's opposite the Princess Slice, in other words. To cut a long story short with you guys. But I'm a bit long-winded. I do like to tell the stories. I know you guys love the stories. I know you do. So yeah, them postcode wars, what I'm just speaking to you about on the estate, are still going on today. And when I was down there yesterday, the day before yesterday, doing Channel 5, I did see quite a few gang members, walking through the estate. Actually, when I was in the car park with my window down, waiting for the producer to come up to me, one of the gang members come up to my car just to see who I was, and he asked me for a cigarette, just for a blag. As luck had it, I was smoking a fag, and I went, yes, here, mate. I'll give him a cigarette out of the kindness of my heart, 'cause that's the type of person I am. And, you know, he started to have a chat with me, what you doing round here? And then he see the producer pulling up, and he said, wow, he said, you've been in Belmarsh. But that's another story what I'm going to talk to you about already. But yeah, just goes to show you that these gangs are still at it today, because all I was doing was waiting in my truck, and one of the members come up to my truck to sniff me out and see if I was old Bill, to see what I was all about. And, you know, all goes straight on the phone, straight back to the other leaders, to the other members, that there's someone on the estate a little bit iffy. They might have CCTV, they might think they've got it locked down, but they haven't got it locked down in any way, shape or form. It is horrendous on there, guys. I hope you enjoy my content. I'll be doing part 2 and part 3 of this. So have a nice evening, everyone. Peace.